Are you ready for combat night?
All right, folks, we are fresh off of a pretty amazing night of fights in South Florida. Combat night. Finally, combat night has come back to South Florida. Combat Night Pro, that is. Obviously, we do a bunch of shows down there every year, amateur-wise. But, man, pro show in South Florida did not disappoint. Amazing venue, absolutely packed house, and some crackerjack bangarang fights all night long, all across the amateur and pro card. And we are excited to talk about some of them.
Yes, sir.
So obviously I'm joined by Coach Ben Stark and the CEO, Mitchell Chamale. I know Mitchell hasn't made it back to Orlando yet, about to be on that mission.
Hang out with the family down here all day, so been a good day, just a long one.
So and we want to just briefly talk about the adventure that was setting up in the new venue. Always new things to figure out, always new hurdles to overcome, and no different there. Even though we scouted the place, a month ago and tried to devise a plan, once it comes to the day, you never know exactly what you're going to encounter from every aspect, whether that's setting up the house or setting up production or whatever. And I think we encountered and overcame pretty much every obstacle that was in our way that led to just a great night. I had a great time.
Yeah, the obstacles started long before we even got to the venue, to be honest with you. Kind of sucks, man. People in the community, MMA community is a real shitty one. People will look for any way to pull you down. A lot of times, very few companies that work together and really try to raise the bar. But yeah, man, we had guys even trash talking us to the venue before we even got there. Only for us to be told while we're there by the venue. It's like, why all of that? There's no need for all of that. But yeah, so the challenges were tough. I'm glad we had the day before. The venue was great to work with. It was a good event, and I'm happy we got through it. And I feel like we nailed it on the first try.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, it was killer. The crowd looked awesome. The way it was set up and the kind of furniture even we were using, it really kind of heightened the ambiance of it. The stage presence was great. The video package was awesome. The back rooms, a little tight, but not too tight. Plenty of room to work. No complaints on my side. But I heard the load-in was hell. It's a bad breakdown.
Yeah.
The load-in was something else. Shout out to Angel and Tim and the guys that did all that heavy lifting, because that cage had to be carried piece by piece up a couple flights of stairs to get in through that front door, because the service elevator was precariously positioned where we couldn't bring those large pieces through there. So they were slaving away.
Damn. Yes, it was hot too. We're in Florida right now. Thankfully it didn't rain. That'd be even that's another element added, having to dry off all the stuff. It was
we got lucky there.
How many things could have went wrong just using a new venue? Because things do go wrong in new venues. From the personnel not working well together, we work great with their team. From just the fighters and the fans themselves, you never know what's going to happen. But man, I had a dozen people come up to me and tell me that's the best event they've ever seen in South Florida. A dozen. And there are people people whose names matter in the sport. Wasn't just some random, you know what I mean?
So that's great.
It looked fantastic. I enjoyed that venue. I think everybody enjoyed that venue, and I think the venue enjoyed having us. I think we put a huge crowd in there that maybe surprised them even. So we're glad to do that, and look forward to doing it again.
Hell yeah.
There's a question in the chat already. I'm going to shoot it to you, Mitchell. It says, how come South Florida pro shows are more rare?
Man, it's honestly comes down to like simple business, right? So after the pandemic happened, a lot of shows went to South Florida, Eagle FC, Combate, Titan. There were like 5 events happening at the same time in South Florida. Not only are they in South Florida, but Ben, could you mute your mic when you go to drink?
Sorry.
Thank you. But not only are they in South Florida, but they're all doing stupid things. They're messing up the market. They're throwing short notice fights together, 2 weeks notice, and the guys are stepping up on short notice, and they're throwing stupid amounts of money at them, which is great. Hey guys, make your money. Like, I'm not telling you that at all. If it's a good fight, whatever, make your money. But a lot of guys are making dumb decisions, and it messed up a few guys. So it was hard to go down there and do the pro events because there were so many events happening, and the guys were always so active. It was like, there's enough happening down there. We don't need to go down there and compete with all that. I knew that it was going to implode, more or less. I knew that they couldn't continue to keep up how they were doing and running the shows. They were going to mess up. And when they messed up, we'll do a pro show. So anyone who's in the South Florida scene, now you think about what I'm putting together, you can probably put that together yourself and go, yeah, I remember this show and that show and these shows and all these shows, and now they're all gone. That's the answer in short.
Man, the prices down here are not friendly at all.
No, so I'm not trying to compete with 4 other shows. I mean, that just,
Yeah.
We bring our guys up
sense.
north. If they want to fight pro, we'll bring them to Tallahassee, Orlando. You don't have to fight in your hometown with us. But now I'm happy to be back there, and I think we will be doing at least 1 show a year down there, maybe the last show of the year. Maybe we do 2. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's start talking about some of these scraps. So let's just start from the top. Our main event was a bantamweight title fight between Cody Cook and Ginseng du Jour, and Cody Cook put on an impressive performance. He came in 4-0. He faced what we were calling the Star Killer. Ginseng du Jour, who has been on quite a tear for his last few fights. Mitchell.
Man, I've been calling him the Prodigy Punisher.
Oh, I like that.
We all got our different names for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Ginseng, he's done it so many times, gotten some big finishes against some undefeated prospects. So when we put him and Corey together, we were like, I kind of like, if you can beat Ginseng, honestly, I think he's the only lost the guy who went to the UFC. What does that say about him? 45 years old, still competing at this level. It's stupid. And Cody Cook, young, hungry, one of the most humble kids I know right now in the game. He's a unique case where he doesn't really have to be doing this. He wants to do this. His family has done well for themselves. They own some businesses. They're smart, and so he's doing it because he actually wants to do it. I like those. There's something special about those type of guys.
Yeah, it takes a certain kind of guy when they do not have to put themselves through this kind of torment, but they still choose to. It's a special kind of grit, and he looked fantastic. 4-0, going up against Ginseng, a seasoned veteran who, again, is known for beating these young prodigies. And this is like one of those put up or shut up moments. Are you going to get past this tough, like, gatekeeper to the next level, or what? Because he has disappointed most people at home, and that's an even higher level of stress in the moment. But Cody took it to him, man. Cody looked fantastic. Got right into his position, got into his power positions, worked right through, boom, right on the finish as soon as it opened up. Never stopped fishing for it, never stopped pummeling. Fantastic work. Cody Cook looked great.
And so, we also got to give a shout out to, Ginseng called that his last fight. He's hanging it up. He retired after that fight. And, despite that final loss in that fight against, a surging prospect, he had a fantastic run to end his career. And he was just such a credit to the sport, consummate professional, in and out of the cage, always a pleasure to work with. And, did a lot for his team and guys that that he coaches and for the sport in general, and he will be missed.
Yeah, man. Everyone I know that knows him speaks very highly of him. Apparently, he's a really good guy. Happy to see him. He's been a very good coach. We've cross-trained with some of his guys and ours, and they all speak very highly of him as well.
So next up, we had just an absolute crazy fight in our co-main event versus it was Paulo Games versus Luis Hernandez. Paulo, a seasoned veteran himself, and he was taking on an undefeated guy in Luis Hernandez, who came out absolutely cracking. And in the second round, Paulo was able to turn it around and almost get a finish. That fight was just bonkers.
Man, Hernandez looked awesome in the first, but he tired himself out. He went so hard for that finish that he was so sure he was going to get that he emptied out the tank. He came out in the second looking kind of noodly, and Games just hit him with a crushing right hand. He's an awkward striker. That stuff's hard to read, and he knocked Hernandez for a loop. He was bleeding all over us in the booth.
Yeah, all over him.
I was shocked how he kept it together, and he actually tried to kind of brawl it out as rocked as he was. But once he got on the hips, he was smart. And he was like, I can kind of settle in here. It saved his ass.
Yeah, man. Paulo took that fight on, I think, like 3 or 4 days' notice. Paulo's another one of those guys like Ginseng that's fought the toughest dudes. He's beat some really tough dudes coming off of a knockout in bare knuckle. He just knocked somebody out over there in bare knuckle, just not even that long ago. But Paulo's never been finished in our cage. He's fought quite a few times. He's tough. He is always game. And for that fight, whenever you're watching it, you're thinking like, oh, Luis is about to just dominate. He's taking over now. And then he pops him in that second round. The blood and the commission. Jump to this real quick. When he was hitting his face at the very end and gets the finish, that commissioner right underneath him covered. It was one of the nastiest things I've ever seen.
Awesome. Did you get pictures?
Ramsey, if that had been your equipment, I have a video. Ramsey, if that had been your video equipment, you got to come up with some kind of plan if that starts happening. I'm putting that out there. It's on my meeting notes for tomorrow night. We have to have a plan if blood splatter starts happening on the equipment.
You can get like a plastic sheet that has like tabs on it and kind of roll it up and just kind of pull it out.
I was hiding underneath the tablecloth a couple times because it was actually it was a bloody night. Like that fight was probably one of the most bloody. One of the amateur fights of the ladies was extremely bloody.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It was crazy.
And I just had a little pile of bloody defense wipes sitting behind me where I kept having to wipe my stuff off and toss them behind me. But we were in Thunderdome last night for sure.
Man, the whole event had like super high intensity. Like the vibes of the room were like super intense. Like it was thick. It was like palpable.
Yeah, no doubt.
And love you, Melissa. Bye.
Even at the conclusion of that Paulo Hernandez fight, so a guy from Hernandez's crew climbed and jumped the fence, jumped in the cage, and I think he got tossed by Timmy out of the cage. So shout out Timmy. Went from in match content creator to bouncer.
So what happens in that situation? Like I worked in concert venues, and if you get over the barricades and you go off to the side, it's no big deal. But if you like try to get on stage or you cause a fuss, you get yanked, and 50-50 you get arrested depending on what you did. That guy went over the stanchion, pushed the photographer out of the way, climbed the cage, and then the commissioner's like trying to yank him apart. He's like, "Yo, get the fuck off of me!" Like I saw Tim look pissed.
Yeah.
So I wonder what happens to that kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think since he's not a team member or a coach.
Not licensed.
Yeah, so And at that point, the fight that he probably cared about the most was over. So even getting kicked out of the venue wouldn't have been a
true.
So
Cherry on
he
top.
just right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to see that like all the time. You know what I'm saying? But like, it doesn't bother me one bit. Like, there wasn't a safety hazard happening at that moment right there. Like, I don't like it, but it's like, it's just gonna happen.
It did get a little crazy right there because there was a crush of his people actually in that stanchion area, and there were two kids in that front row that their dad like jumped over them and was like shielding them from the guys that were just moshing out. He wasn't tripping, but
yeah.
Dude, one of the
realize
guys tried
there
to
was supposed
fight
to be-
AJ.
There were supposed to be no chairs in that walkway at all. So I think people started putting their chairs there as the night went on.
No, they weren't in the walkway. They were to the side, but there was like 20 guys there that were just like losing their shit.
Yeah, I only saw the video. I seen the video from inside the cage. I didn't see it live. Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want any mosh pits, especially from cops. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, come on, guys.
That explains a lot.
Oh, I did want to say his walkout song was pretty dope. He came out, he walked out to Bad Boys. That was sick. Luis Hernandez.
It explains the mustache.
Stash.
So the fight before that, a middleweight bout, Idris Wasi and Roman Feraldo. Roman Feraldo returning to the Combat Night cage after a stint, with Bellator, and he's taken a little bit of time off, and he was able to come back to the cage in his hometown. His people showed up in mass, and he put on a fantastic performance, picking up the round 1 knockout. And he came out there throwing absolute vicious hooks and uppercuts, and it turned into ground and pound, and he let him back up, and incredible pace. Like, that was not going more than 1 round, and he was leaving his stamp on that.
Firstly, he's huge.
Yeah, he's huge.
I did not realize he was that big. That dude's massive. He was so sharp. All of his stuff looked like it hurt bad.
Which fight were y'all talking about? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
Roman.
Yeah, Feraldo.
Yeah. Dope to have him back. I think he fought Combat Night 1 or 2 with us. Fought a lot of amateur fights with us, amateur bout, pro debut. So it's just dope. It's dope to have him back.
Hell yeah.
And Idris
It's a bad
stepping
man.
up on. Idris hit us up on 2 days' notice to fight him.
That's a lot of balls.
That's a crazy,
Florida 818 East.
Yeah, shout out to him for stepping up on that short notice, and Roman's still getting a fight. Prior to that, we had a featherweight bout, Wonky Rodriguez versus Asa 10 Powell. Ben, what did you think of that fight?
Man, it's like I told you last night. It goes to show the level of talent that we have here in Combat Night, here in South Florida. Juan Rodriguez trains out of ATT Black Box in Kissimmee. I met him in his amateur days, just through the scene. Nice kid, strong grappling background, good judo background, good wrestling. He trains under Glenn and like I said, the Black Box crew. But he just went toe to toe with a 1%er. Asa 10 Pow is a 1%er. I don't know if he held the belt in 1, but I know he held the belt in glory. He's the best, one of the best American Muay Thai fighters of this generation, if not of history. Asa 10 Pow is a very, very impressive fighter. And Juan dominated him for 2 rounds before obviously succumbing to the pressure and the power. Asa's power is crazy too. Those left hooks were unbelievable.
He ate some body shots. Asa threw some shots. I could hear them. They were so powerful. I was so impressed with Monty's performance in that fight. Man, like how capable and how good he is. And he landed some shots too. And he got some good takedowns, great positions. I thought he was fixing to beat Asa.
He was looking like it. It was a quick turn. It was until it wasn't.
And fight IQ from Asa being able to go to the body, because I think that's what it was. Working that body, being smart in his grappling exchanges. He has to be conditioned to be able to go from those grappling exchanges to like striking. I thought that was going to kill his power, but man, he was still ripping. So that says a lot about Asa.
Yeah.
He's got to work at the next level, but his conditioning is there, and I think that's the hardest thing to figure out with the grappling and all. But after 2 rounds of grappling, he was able to hit body shots. Hats off, man, to both those guys. That was a hell of a fight, and I think Monty did a lot better than Mike to give him credit.
Yeah, I think people didn't expect that out of him.
No.
And it was body shots that stopped the show in that match.
At least that led to it. That big right hand cracked his jaw at the very, very end.
Prior to that, we had a welterweight bout, Augustus D'Angelo and Jacob Diaz. That was a round 2 doctor stoppage due to a cut that he took over his eye, and they had to look at it and stopped it. I thought Jacob Diaz, he came out really kind of like loose with a lot of a lot of good striking, and that was a fight that they were content to let stay on the feet. They threw down, standing pretty much the entire time. Thoughts?
Diaz was surprisingly light-footed.
Go ahead, Mitch.
I was just gonna say I thought that they looked great. Honestly, Gus has had some rough fights with us where he didn't show up, and he looked good as well. I like seeing the back and forth. It's unfortunate the doctor stoppage, the eye. I know Gus wanted to keep going. I happened to be right there when the doctor was going to die the first time, and man, Gus, the eye was bad. Gus was making sure he stayed in there. He did not want to get out of that fight. But man, Jacob for a bigger dude, man, he looked pretty impressive. He did miss weight, but he also came down from like 240 pounds. He was another one of those guys that had a really loud fan base. A lot of people there supported him. Him and Gus, we actually had a few fights last night where it was like both sides of the coin. The crowd was like split down the middle. Even Paulo and Lewis, like Paulo heard Lewis, the crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
Cody and Jensen, yeah, it's really good, man. The energy last night was dope in these fights.
Prior to that bout, we had a bantamweight bout, Irvin Enriquez versus Diego Alaman. Irvin won by unanimous decision. That was a super exciting unanimous decision, high pace fight. Irvin Enriquez, we know, has like that never-ending tank, and Diego Alaman did a fantastic job of matching it. It wasn't the gas tank that failed him in that bout. It was the many takedowns and relentless takedown attempts from Irvin Enriquez. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Irvin has a gas tank.
Yeah.
So I just said Irvin has a gas tank. It's hard to beat anybody with a gas tank like that. It doesn't matter what they're doing. You got a gas tank like that and you wrestle, it's a long night for anybody.
He's like a Frankie Edgar gas tank, man. He has no stopping him. But I'll say this, the third round of this fight was the first time I've seen him breathing like heavy and like take a step back and we wait for a moment. I think we've called 4 or 5 of his fights through his amateurs into his pros, something like that. He is an absolute machine. And Elman was there with him the entire time. I'd never met Elman before, but that's a bad man. That dude is a problem. He could bang. He hit hard. I wrapped his hands. His hands are like bricks, and to keep pace with Enriquez, unbelievable. I look forward to following the both of them. Both of those guys are studs.
Yeah, I agree, man. Diego is no slouch by any means. Man, it was a great fight. Like if you really are a mixed martial artist, that's a good fight to watch. All the fights, man.
The fight before that, featherweight bout, Eddie Perlaza and EJ Hernandez. EJ Hernandez came through with an absolute atom bomb of a left that knocked out Eddie Perlaza, and we had a moment there.
That was crazy, man. The crowd almost like went silent before a giant eruption. There was like I feel like there was a feeling of like shock before the realization. It was again, the moments last night were insane.
That was hard to watch, man. Like, maybe it's my age or my time in the sport. I'm 25 plus years in. I can't see that shit anymore, man. It upsets me so much. I hate it. But 2 decades ago, I was bloodthirsty and like, that's what it's all about. I'm just an old man now. That shit was hard to watch. I hope Perlaza is good. Once he woke up and he was standing, you could see on his face, he's like, oh, when you stand up and they're clapping, it was bad, dude.
Yeah.
That realization, he did not look too clean.
Yeah, there was a lot of emotional intensity around that fight, and EJ hit him with a knockout blow and then gave him some super necessary after that, and it turned into a bit of a scary moment there whenever you don't see a fighter move for a little bit, and wish Eddie Perlaza all the best. Hope he's doing all right. Yeah, man.
It's also just one of those things where it's like, both those guys were undefeated early in their their pro career. It's like you don't want to, like Ben said, you don't want to see that kind of damage in general anymore. But it hurts a little more whenever it's one of the younger guys. And like it's like you want to see the knockouts, but then you see some knockouts and you're just like, man, that's not. They don't do it for me anymore. I don't like it either, man.
Like a sportsman's knockout where like the guy hits the floor and he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like Asa and Wonky. Yeah. Very tasty. Yeah. But fight's a fight, man. Everyone's doing something. And when I was his age, guess what I was trying to do? I was trying to do exactly what EJ did when I was his age. Mm-hmm. I was trying to separate men from consciousness constantly, visiting other gyms, trying to do it. I was ruthless at his age. So tip of the hat to him for just a crazy knockout he's going to have on his highlight record now. Excited to see what's next, man. Excited to see what's next for that guy. Got to get his head on straight. I think hopefully he had a lot of people telling that this weekend. And
wait, what happened? What happened? What I missed?
You don't know about EJ and a couple got Fusion getting into it before the at weigh-ins?
Oh no, not at all.
They just got into it back and forth. He was throwing water bottles and a lot of commotion, and commission was ready to suspend them indefinitely.
Man, that crew gets in a lot of backstage fights. The big fight at Rise of a Warrior the other year, that was them too.
And there's always two parties. There's always two parties. Yeah. I will say that. But it's like when you got those two parties who are willing to antagonize it to such an extent, it's like no one knows that line. It's like,
I get entertainment value of like talking shit as I'm a big pro wrestling fan, but whatever happened to just being a good sportsman? Good, we're not enemies. We're just fighting. It's,
you guys are, you fighters are kind of cut from a different cloth, and you got to tap into a certain amount of savagery that is very different than kind of just shooting basketball or even playing football. So, but there's emotional control, and EJ just has to woosah a little bit because he runs hot as he lead ups to fights.
And then, when I was his age, I ran a lot hotter and I thought a lot differently. So I can sit here as a 40-year-old man and tell you how whatever, but I know when I was his age, I just knocked somebody out, man. Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Right. I'll knock you out.
Yeah, man. Get out of here. Who you talking to, son? All day. So I get it. but I would like to guide them to a better place. Anyways.
Before that, and there was a comment in the chat. Eddie is good. We'll come back stronger.
I believe so.
But before that, we had a bantamweight bout. Cody Salazar versus Joe Gonzalez. Joe Gonzalez picked up the win via rear naked choke. Ben.
I was just showing up as they raised his hand, but I remember watching Joe Gonzalez as an amateur and being very impressed with what he brought to the table. So I'm sure I missed an awesome performance.
Yeah, man, Joe's ability to get somebody's back and choke them out is pretty crazy. No one's been able to really stop him from doing that except for the Cuban Missile, David Rodriguez. They had a fight, and I don't believe he was able to get to that position and finish him. But man, he's good at that, and he's also got good striking. So I kind of, but he's smart. Why waste that? Just get the win, finish him, and get out of there. And he's done that every time he's fought for us for the most part. Is just drug people into deep water.
Well,
you don't get paid by the hour.
They call him the future. He's only 21 years old. And
he's another one though. He's got the hot headedness. Like it runs real hot. It's like you gotta I get it, man. You couldn't tell me if I was your age and I was doing what y'all are doing, where my head wouldn't be. But I've seen a lot of people over the years lose some great opportunities because of that. So, and with opportunities come money. So that's what I'm always thinking about, like how to get level with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to learn the game because there is a promotion to run there, and that when you're in there fighting with us for us, then there's an element of appreciating the platform, and certain actions can put that into jeopardy and put a stain on it. And if you get to a place where it's like you do these types of things and we don't want to fuck with you, then likely bigger shows are not going to either.
When you do stuff that costs promoters money, word will get out that you cost promoters money, and you'll become very hard to book.
I'll say this, like, for the most part, the guys are great. Like, you don't have a whole lot of guys that are like, there's a couple. So, it's I'm thankful that the sport is filled with a lot of people who kind of know where the line's at or whatever. But it's what it is.
Well, and Mitchell, even years ago there's a stigma to overcome about MMA, and we faced that in like Tallahassee, where they didn't even want to give us a certain venue because of the stigma that was over MMA. Yep. Sometimes it aggravates me whenever certain things kind of like make us take a step back.
Yeah, especially it's the first time in the venue,
right? And
it's like, and not for nothing, but like I kick it with a bunch of these guys and spar with a bunch of these guys and train with a bunch of these guys. And it's like, if you are, if I'm around you and I'm trying to give you something, just even a little extra, like if you want to work an event, you come work an event and like you make a little extra money or whatever it might be. But, you got to represent, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't, like if Timmy ever did some stuff like this, bro, can't, like the standard comes with that. But I just hope that I think cooler heads did prevail. Everything's good now. But with that being said, if somehow Joe goes up 45, that is a fight I would love to see. Just putting that out there.
All right, we kicked off the pro card with the welterweight bout, Donald Martin and Arthur Jean. Both of those guys making their debut. Donald Martin picked up the win via rear naked choke in round 1 against Arthur Jean, who had a solid amateur career.
I like both of these guys, man. Very similar amateur careers to an extent. I think Arthur stuck around a little longer and figured it out as an amateur and kind of took a couple extra fights. But man, the rules seem to suit him pretty well. to be a pro. Felt like he had a quick fight, got the finish. Hats off to him, man. Like I said, I was excited to see him make his pro debut and go ahead and get it in. And he told me he wants to stay active, so I'm excited to see what's going to be next for him.
All right. Our undercard main event, we have new bantamweight champion in Austin Wallowitz picking up the unanimous decision over Gertie Mathieu.
Gertie has had a lot of fight a lot of wrestlers, so he's dealt with this a lot in his career. Austin Wallowitz, though, man, the pace and everything else he's put together, real impressive. Since the last time he fought with us, man, his only loss, I believe, was against Avery Mutzler. And he's improved a lot since that fight. Excited to see what's next for him. He's another one of those young guys that's kind of doing everything right now. Got a great team over there at Rapid Strike. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. What's next for that one?
Our co-main event on the undercard was Alex Cunningham and Lance Evans. Lance Evans taking home the welterweight title with a TKO in round 1. And that one was just quick.
I saw a few clips from this one. I saw Cunningham drop Lance, and then I saw Lance catching Cunningham for the finish, knocking him over and finishing up strong. I don't know what happened as I was kind of in and out, but everything I saw as I was in the room was awesome. Like, even just going over this amateur card, I can't wait until we're done so I can go and start watching it for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, Cunningham rocked Lance Evans early, and Lance shot on him and basically just like fantastic turnaround. Overwhelmed him.
Did when Lance got knocked down, was he like out of it, or did he like recover immediately? Because in the clip on Instagram, it looked bad.
He dropped him like he didn't fully hit the ground, but his knees like fully buckled, and he turned it into like a shot.
No kidding. Nice.
Yeah, so that was one of those fights that I missed pretty much everything till the very end. I was running around doing stuff. The amateur card, I like Ben. I missed a lot of stuff too. Me and Ben were crossing paths a lot, and I was like, man, Ben. I was like, Ben looks locked in. But yeah, I saw the ending. Lance in general, his physique and the way he was carrying himself was a bit more like, he became a man. Like, the last time he fought for us, I felt like he was a little still, I don't know, he just wasn't like filled out yet with muscle. Now the dude's a good sized welterweight. And I didn't expect that. I honestly, Alex Cunningham's undefeated. Lance hadn't fought in a while. You never know if the guy's training, the guy's not training. And man, Lance looked really, really improved in between the last time we saw him and now.
Well, in his post fight, he said he's been in the weight room and been trying to do all the right things, and maybe hadn't been taking his training appropriately for what his goals were, and he refocused, and he was a very happy man last night.
Yep.
Prior to that, we had a Muay Thai title fight between Oliver Maitre and Nick Thomas, and that was Rock'em Sock'em. It went to a split decision that was won by Oliver Maitre. But man, the Big O, those guys, they threw down for 3 rounds with everything but the kitchen sink they were throwing at each other.
Man, Oliver Maitre is a kid to watch. He is fun to watch. He is all gas, no breaks. He throws everything, including the kitchen sink. He's very athletic. He's very coordinated. He puts together kind of wonky combinations, same side, hook, knees, stuff like that. He's a fun watch. He is 7-1 for a reason. That kid's a problem. Like, keep in mind, his first, I think, 3 or 4 fights, he was an independent, right? He was just working with a couple of his buddies in a gym, as far as I'm aware. And he only recently found a gym maybe 6-8 months ago. So take that into consideration. The fact that he's only been in a structured environment at Shiva for like around a year. That's wild.
Yeah, man. But both of those guys looked good, and that was a great fight. Prior to that, we had a lightweight bout. Zaki Dekac and Daniel Ortega. Go ahead, Ben. You were in the corner for that one.
Man, Zaki showed up. It wasn't the game plan we had, but it's what we had to do. You know, Ortega's a big boy. We know he cuts from close to 200 pounds, and you can see it on his frame. That kid works out. He's very strong. In the back, Zaki was telling me he's never felt someone that strong. He felt like Sham, he said. Just a ridiculous, like, powerful guy. But Ortega did a fantastic job of not getting kept on the ground. Zaki had a game plan that he was, for the most part, executing on, but could not keep Ortega down long enough to get to the damage or to get to his submission attacks. And Zaki was sharp all camp. You know, I was telling Zaki was out for almost 2 years. This is his first fight back. So a super, super performance on his part. But Zaki was telling me, you know, I can fight 55, you know, but I was like, these boys are big. You know, Zaki was ready for a 45. He was walking around at like 164 for this, you know. So we're fighting a big 55 or a strong 55 or a black belt in judo, I believe. And I've heard like traditional jiu-jitsu. The kid's seasoned and he's a better striker, you know, but Zaki took it to him, kept him on the cage, kept him on the ground, kept him on the grind. I know I saw Mitchell talking with Avto in the back. Avto is not a joke. He's one of the most decorated wrestlers in history. And you know, Zaki is deeply connected with that guy. So you can see it in how he performs.
Yeah. If Zaki gets on, sorry, go ahead.
You got it.
If Zaki gets on your legs, it's a problem. It is a problem. I personally think that's the biggest test he's had yet.
By far.
And it was coming off of a big layoff. I know he got really big during the layoff. I know, you know, he for what, you know, whatever, just got big. And I was curious to see to make weight. He looked like he had no problem making weight. And then he put on a great performance. His cardio is crazy. The Ortega kid is really tough. But I said, man, if Zaki gets on your legs, Ben has a gym over there in Ofto. I actually, me and Brandy have eaten Ofto's honey. But it's one of Brandy's favorite honeys. Ofto's a beekeeper. And he's also one of the top, maybe one of the best wrestlers in the world that no one knows. He is the best wrestler in the world that nobody knows. The real ones know.
Man, look up his backstory. Backstory. Palm Beach posted a huge thing on him. He was, man, I don't even want to get into it. It's a crazy story.
Ramsey, Hank is how Opto got to America. Opto told me last night Hank gave him a second chance at life.
Hank's talked to me quite a bit. He's told me that Ben has one of the best wrestling coaches in the world down there at his gym.
Yeah,
and I got him by accident. He coached Zaki in high school, and Zaki goes, "Hey, my old coach wants to get back into it. Can I give him your number?" And he just called me. He's like, "We start wrestling," and I'm like, "Yeah, let's do this thing." I Googled him and I was like, "Holy shit!" My own wrestling coach, Steve Mako, called me when I announced that he was working. He goes, "How did you get Avto?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I didn't really know who he was. He's like, "He's the most decorated wrestler in the country." And I'm like,
"Yeah,
oh, okay, sick."
So that took Zaki to 6-0. What do you think's next for him?
I like my guys to get about 10 amateur fights. You know, he's fought a couple different types of guys. Zaki probably has the deepest record of all of my guys. I think his opponents have a combined like losses of 2 and maybe like 18 or so wins. I meant to do the math, you know, earlier. I did not. But like, he can go pro. He has the skill set, but there's some things that we still want him to improve on. I don't know if you saw his kicks. They are way better than they used to be. He's getting more confident in his striking, but I'd like to see that evolve a little bit before I push him to the paid level. You know, also, he's 6-0. He got no belts. Let's get a strap on this boy.
I definitely want him to fight for a belt next. Whoever.
Hell yeah.
I think he needs to outside looking in, how old is Zachy?
24? Yeah.
I think that he needs to take a really challenging, tough title fight. I'd like to see Zachy, put somebody like that away, like a big good title fight. Maybe even fight in another city. Get out of his city
Yeah.
and be on the road for a little bit, and maybe Tallahassee or something. I don't know. I don't know anybody off the top of my head.
Any
Yeah, I like
place
to see him.
closer than Tallahassee, please.
Man, but he needs to feel being far away from home.
Yeah, Jacksonville. Jacksonville's good.
Hey, matchmaker Tim is in the comments. He said Mikey Bartolo.
Nah, Zachy ain't doing 55 anymore. He's in the back. He goes, I understand. Because Zachy should be fighting at 135. He just likes fucking cupcakes too much.
Yeah, he's chunky. He's still pudgy around the edges.
Yeah, dude. He should be fighting at 135 and 145 if he really dedicates himself to lifting.
So, Tim, you think of somebody at 45?
Oh, Tim also threw out there Roman versus Val.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that would be crazy. That would be good.
Don't do that to my heart. Nah, honestly, I don't put my foot down a lot. I'm being honest right here. Like, don't. I couldn't. That's like my two of the OGs that I've known the longest and been a part of their careers. Like, nah, couldn't see that. And they both throw just heat. So it's not like someone's getting a submission or someone's holding somebody down. Nah, they're gonna get in there and they're gonna throw down. Nah.
That would move some fucking pay-per-view numbers though.
Zero interest.
That's a UFC fight.
Yeah, let them get paid for that fight.
That's valid.
All right, moving on. But prior to that, we had a strawweight women's bout between Lisa Golden and Maya Payanagua.
Good going. That was good.
I liked Barbosa was much easier to say, but she gave us a different name. So,
sound like you said bread water in Spanish. Panagua.
Oh, you a Spanish speaker now? That fight was crazy. Lisa Golden got cracked early, and her nose just started flooding.
Dog, she was leaking.
And I mean, she thugged it out for a long time. They were throwing down. Maya ended up picking up the victory via TKO, but not until they gave each other what for.
And that might be one of the better fights of the year for sure, especially for the women. That armbar that Maya went for early on, Lisa gutted through that.
Yeah.
But Lisa Golden, a black belt. Maya to be able to even get that deep of an attempt tells you just how good she's good. I do think Lisa needs to be fighting at 105 though. She did look like much smaller in stature.
Yeah, she showed a lot of toughness though. Like that was certainly a crowd pleasing fight because they threw down and at the end of the fight, Maya, I don't know if she was looking at the pay-per-view camera, if she was looking at one of the phones, so they might have it, but she was like, "This is my shit."
So that young generation, man, she's young too.
Yeah, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Rasta Reverend jumping in the comments.
Was good.
Just talked about his fight. I'd love to see a guy like him too, man. I was saying earlier on Instagram, he made a post about taking the loss, kind of like getting in front of it. So many times, man, guys lose, and I get it. Like you don't want to like address it or be deal with it or whatever. You don't ever say anything, and like it's kind of like, hey, if someone won, if they talk about it, because they lose and you don't see anything being posted, you're like, they're probably not talking about it. It's probably not a good. You go look to see the congratulations or like the shared story post on their story, and you don't see it. But I like it whenever a fighter's like, yeah, man, like that. That's good to see that. He's another dude that I think will be going pro pretty soon as well.
Yeah.
He said, "I've lost many times in basketball."
Man, it's
Hurts a
it's
little
some of the
more in
guys.
MMA.
Yeah, some of the guys that I've met that have had the best records were the guys that cared the least about losing. You know, like that weight doesn't help you. You know, it weighs you down.
Yeah.
It makes you second guess shit. It's part of your adrenaline dump. It's not helpful. And if you can detach yourself from it, you will perform better just because you're going to be calmer. You're going to have better reaction times and better reads because you're not going to be distracted by anxiety. It's such a
Yeah,
good, if you can let go of that, oh, it's going to do yourself a big favor.
Yeah, you don't want to fight with a fear of losing. Like you just fight not to lose. You know, you don't want to get to that point. So
Yeah, I always I like it to see when guys have their heads on where they can like lose gracefully. Obviously, nobody wants to lose, and you don't want to get used to it or accustomed to it. But whenever you can just see it as like part of the process and move on and acknowledge it and move on, I like to see that in athletes. Prior to that bout, we had a lightweight bout between Bernardo Delibero and Taj Barker. Bernardo picking up the victory via rear naked choke in round 2 in his debut over Taj Barker. They had an interesting face-off. Taj came in. Does you have to correct me, but does he always do some like heavy posturing?
to some extent, yeah.
Um,
This was the most.
okay. But anywho, they came out and in the stand-up, Taj was looking to get off there, and once it went to the ground, that Wagner Rocha jiu-jitsu of Bernardo showed itself.
Man, I didn't get to sit down for this one, but I was in the room, and I saw Taj drop Bernardo maybe 2 or 3 times and just back up and let him up. And if you're landing hard, good on you. You'll get him eventually. But I'm not letting you back up free. You know, you got to make him work for the stand-up. But as it seems, I don't know how Del Roberto got his back, but he sunk it in as soon as he did. And the Freedom Fighters guys can grapple their ass off. So that's a very impressive victory on his behalf.
And I was right there for that fight. I happened to have like the best seat in the house for it at that very moment. And man, Bernardo is a savage. He took he really did. He took a beating. I felt like from Taj. Landed some shots of his own. Had his own little couple moments here and there. But I feel like in between rounds, it was kind of like we got to get this dude down.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get him down. And that is exactly what Bernardo did. Got him down. You know, something, I'll address this in a second, but some mistakes I see guys make a lot against grapplers or against strikers. But, man, he got him down. He kicked him off of him, and he made a mistake. He turned away from him. And Bernardo was like, nah, coming with me. Ran,
Give him hips.
backpacked. Like that's one of the biggest mistakes that anyone can make against a grappler on the ground. It's like give him your back. You know, you should never give your opponent their. Doesn't matter what's going on. You don't give them your back. It's got to be the very last resort in a horrible situation, in a horrible position, that you just give up your back.
Yeah, you are not Heath Herring.
Not to speed up how fast you can get up though. That's not why you do it. You get up, and you know what? If worst case scenario, they end up on a single leg, now you get to defend it from there. Way better than getting back. Anyways, beautiful finish though, man. As soon as he got the back, it was a wrap. It was done. It was funny to see Wagner in the corner. Wagner was losing it. You know, Wagner's known for his back control and his different, just aggressive grappling. You know, and it's cool to see him kind of back in the mix with MMA. He's also saying that his son Achilles wants to take a kickboxing fight.
How old is his son? Could we do like a
18.
legendary families fight? I was going to say, if he was like 16, the Machida brothers.
Yeah. Achilles is a big boy, though.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, he's big.
Man, could you imagine how good his grappling is?
Stupid.
So prior to that fight, we had a women's kickboxing fight: Johanna Villafuerte versus Eden Del Rey. Eden, both of them making their debut. We saw Eden a few months ago do a combat jiu-jitsu match. This 17-year-old gal showed absolute savagery in that, and so I was curious and interested to see her make that transition to the stand-up. And she brought very similar intensity to the stand-up. And she ended up picking up the win via unanimous decision. And it's my understanding she wants to fight MMA. So this is kind of the path: is do some mix it up through the different disciplines. And I thought overall she looked solid in her debut.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hers. She wants to fight. She wants to be active. She's young. She can't do MMA yet. So she's just doing whatever she can do to stay busy. That's what, when someone tells me they want to fight, that's what I expect. I expect you to just be willing to do whatever is available, whether it's kickboxing or Muay Thai or whatever. Like, get better. Obviously, if it's not the right fight, someone has too much experience or doesn't match up right. I get that. I understand that. But if someone else with equal amount of experience is there, it's like, yo, stay active. Don't be a snob. Like, everyone can improve their striking or their CJJ or a super fight, whatever it is. If you can do something to stay active, do it. And I like that he does that. Johanna was no slouch, man. They got in there. They threw down. Both of those girls looked really good, actually. That was Johanna's at a Senjutsu. I really enjoyed that fight. It was good. It's good back and forth. Good fight, start to finish. The whole amateur card, every fight last night was great.
And prior to that fight, we had a featherweight Muay Thai bout between Corey Went and Jeffrey Poe. Jeffrey Poe picked up the unanimous decision over Corey. Ben, I know you were in the corner for that one.
Yes, sir. Man, it was a great fight. I found it to be super duper close coming to the decision. I had a feeling Poe took it. He had really nice sweeps in a couple of those rounds, and one or two rounds. I think in the second round he swept Corey like 3 times, and that does weigh pretty heavy on the judges, I believe. We knew Poe was going to come really, really aggressive forward, and Corey is a big mobility guy. You know how he likes to dance around the cage, so we kind of played into that. I think Corey won on the boxing, and I think Corey won on volume. But Poe was trudging forward, and he was always aggressive, and he was kneeing well and kicking well. I think it was a super close fight. Very fair decision. Congrats to Poe. He looked great. Real classy guy. Fabulous to deal with the Eilers guys weigh-ins and after.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that fight. I think it's hard to deal with a guy like Poe who's always wanting to come forward, especially whenever you're Corey works well in space and with more ability to move. And man, I think it's one of those things where like you think you can prepare for something, but then you feel the pressure and you feel them grabbing you and you feel the constant, like there's never ever a pause. And it's like, ugh, like even though you trained for it, now you're feeling it. And it's like, he trudges a little more than I thought. But it was a great fight. I've been in those situations where I think someone, this guy's got a fast jab, but I can deal with it. And then you get in there and get hit. You're like, whoa, that was faster than I expected there.
Man, I was actually quite surprised. Corey was doing a lot of the clinching, and he was kneeing very well from within there. But Poe was so slick on his tie-ups. He did really good using the knees to set up his dumps.
Some really good tricks. Some really good dumps, man. He did a good job. Honestly, he pulled off stuff that I don't think I could, and I don't think a lot of guys could. He had some really good sweeps.
Yeah, man.
Prior to that, we had a flyweight bout between Christopher Garcia and Ethan Rivera. Ethan Rivera picked up the victory via unanimous decision. I'm sure Ben probably didn't see that one. Did you see that one, Mitch?
Yes, I did. Man, both these guys are young. Garcia might still be in high school.
He's 18, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still in high school, and man, great fight. I think that Ethan improved like 10x since his last fight. He looked very good on his feet. He looked very fluid. I've seen him fight a couple times, and he's had some rough situations in both of his fights. And this fight, man, really smooth. He looked really good. Looked composed, calm. I like him and Maya are both at the same camp, both combat club. And yeah, they both got a bright future, man. Excited to see what they can. Watch them continue to grow.
All right. Prior to that, there was a middleweight bout between Isaiah Torres and Victor Alvarez Jr. Victor Alvarez won in the third round via a submission. I had in my note it was a head and arm triangle, but I'm not sure if that's correct.
Yeah, that's what it looked like on video.
Yes, arm triangle.
Go ahead,
You want me
man.
to go first?
Yeah.
All right. So I am Isaiah's coach. So, of course, I have a bit of bias to me. We took this Victor Alvarez fight with a bit of warning. You know, Alvarez is 7 fights into his career as an amateur. He has fought for the Combat Night title in kickboxing previously. This was Isaiah's debut, and I believe he performed amazingly for a debuter. He was winning the fight, dominated the first round, lost the second round, and was dominating the third until he lost control of his position and he got finished. Shit happens. Great fight, fantastic. I believe Isaiah was outstriking. He was landing a lot more standing up. He was knocking Vic back, and he was scoring takedowns and doing really good grappling. Vic landed some really good shots in there, but not many. Isaiah didn't have any marks. And for a guy like Vic, who knocks people the fuck out, he tends to leave a mark. It was a clean win on his part. Props to him. Now I have my own personal beef. For some reason, he wanted to come into my corner, act like he's jerking his dick off and throwing stuff at us. Now, we can call hypocrisy here because I just heard his walkout before we did this show. And he was going on about how he's a man of God and a man of Christ, and he wants to deal with Christ-minded camps or companies to deal with him. But that's not very similar behavior there now, is it? No. And let's also say you just got mostly dominated by a debuter, and you're 7 fights into your career. Is this the time to be cocky? You should probably be embarrassed about yourself that you performed so badly, you know, with arguably getting what is a setup fight for you. I didn't do anything to him beforehand. I'm pretty polite, so I don't know what his issue is.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that live. Oh, well, I watched the fight live. I didn't get to see him do that to you live. I actually didn't even catch it. I heard about it after the fact. But the fight itself, Isaiah, that kid's good.
He's
I would
fucking
honestly,
really good,
you
man.
know, you didn't get a good amount of options for that weight class. 85 is a hard weight class. I think he could make 70 potentially. You'd have to probably tighten up some stuff. Might be hard, might not be possible, maybe it is, but he looked good. I was surprised. I told you whenever the options I had, we had some very tough 185 options. We had like 5 of them, and none of them were walking the parks. Former kickboxing champions, former Muay Thai champion, former multiple fights, and Vic was the one that kind of had the least experience out of everybody, but he still had a lot. When he took the fight, I was shocked, but Isaiah looked great. I'm excited to see what's next for him. But Vic, that's that veteran, right? It's like figuring it out and never quitting. That's what I love about Vic, is he is always in it. He's always in it to win it. He's never just like, I'm losing the fight, whatever. Great performance from Vic as well. I'm happy that he stuck in there and was able to find the win. But I'm curious. I want to find out as well. Maybe I need to get Vic on the podcast and get him on here, see what that was about. But I will say, just don't let it. Sometimes it's got to be like whatever. I wonder what it is, but like whatever. Don't worry, Ben. We'll make a reel out of it. We'll find out.
Oh, I'm good. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, at some point, no doubt, Danny or Faulkner got that, and there'll be some research going into it.
Well, Ben's a good corner, and so undoubtedly you were yelling some stuff that was detrimental to him.
I mean, when your fingers are in the glove, your fingers are in the glove. That's not my fault. You did that.
So prior to that, we had a featherweight bout between Omar Ferris and Tiernan Tognini. Omar picked up the victory via second round TKO in his debut over a more experienced Tiernan.
I got to see clips of this from the back on the TVs. Tiernan's a very good kickboxer. Some of his losses have kind of been by like happenstance. I remember once his shoulder popped out in like the first 20 or something seconds. He was defending a single leg or something. And then another time, I think he was on the fence and he was relatively safe, but it got waved off for whatever reason. So to see Omar come out and see a guy who really hasn't been put in that many horrible spots, and for his debut, take him on is a super impressive feat. In the clips I saw, these boys were getting after it. You know, I'm looking at this current generation of MMA science guys, run by Roger Crawl. He's one of my old coaches, so I know them pretty well. But for a little while, we didn't see them on our cards. And now we're starting to see these guys, and they're all 18, 19, 20 years old, and they're all beasts. Whatever he's been doing, laying low for the last couple of years, it is starting to show now. And these kids are showing out when they come to the cage.
Yeah, Roger Crawl teamed up with like one of my best friends in Troy Worthen. And Troy's over there now with a fight team. And it's pretty crazy, these kids that he comes to combat night with, and how talented they are. And again, at such a young age. A couple of them some knuckleheads, but I like them. They're like the right kind of knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? They're not too crazy, but they're just a little crazy. They're fun. You got Rambo, and you got Eddie, Omar now, all these guys, Gus, too solid. I like that little crew of guys they got over there. They're coming up, and like you said, man, they're making waves. That was a big fight for Omar to take. I like Tiernan a lot. And I was shocked. Troy literally told me, he was like, "We'll fight anybody. I don't care. Kid needs his debut. I don't care who it is." And I said, "Well, I got Tiernan." Kind of same thing I did with you. I was like, "Well, I got Tiernan." And he was, "Let's run it."
Okay.
Mentioned in Rambo, that's a good segue because his fight was prior to that. Raboni Mason versus Alton Hooks. Rambo picked up the win via KO in round 1 over Alton Hooks. And that was just like, don't blink.
Rambo's a bad man.
Fight? Did you watch that fight, Ben?
No, I was wrapping hands at the time, but I've seen Rambo fight. He's the first guy I've ever seen throw such a deep uppercut. He hit the guy in the balls, but he's heavy-handed. That boy thumps. His jab's fantastic. His hand control is really good. He keeps his guard super high. He fights in very regimented fashion, and he punches like a piston. He looks like he could cave someone's face in. That boy cracks. I saw the knockout on the reels. He hit this boy, grabbed him, sagged him down, and just let him go. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he calls his... Go ahead.
I like Rambo, man. He chops it up. He talks smack with the best of them. Again, you know, Troy has a lot of love for Rambo, so I'm excited to keep working with him, and I know he's gonna be going pro soon too. So I'm excited to see what's next for him.
Have we seen him wrestle yet, or have we seen him grapple?
Yeah. He's had to defend against a lot of shots, and he's defended all of them.
Okay. I was gonna say that's the test, really.
Yeah.
Well, he's a super funny guy, and he's an entertaining guy. He's got a great, like, charismatic personality. He's kind of just like, every time he opens his mouth, I find myself like laughing about something that he's saying.
Yeah, he's funny, man.
And his fighting style, he listed as punch on him. So that's
some hot shit.
And then we kicked off the card with a featherweight kickboxing bout. Billy McCardle and Saf Awan. Both those guys came in 1 and 2. Saf Awan picked up the victory via TKO in round number 2. He's out of Allers Martial Arts. That was a great start to the card.
Yeah, man, I know Saf's a dog. I scouted him for this. We had Kurt Decker booked, and unfortunately his opponent pulled out like 2 days beforehand, and Saf was one of the guys offered to us. We opted not to go with it, but I watched his fights. He fights a lot like Poe. He comes forward aggressively. He does not step back, and he likes to throw them things. You know, you put anyone in front of him. Billy is a fantastic wrestler. Had this been an MMA fight, I could see a very different ending. But his striking is okay. So that's going to end up being a brawl, and Saf is bigger and it's seemingly meaner, and he's here to get his hands dirty, and he's coming for you.
Yeah, and I think Billy was fine. I think he got maybe a little. I think his arm, like he got a little rocked, and he put his arms up, and it looked like he was holding his arm at the end of that fight, maybe his shoulder or something. I think he was just like, nah, like yo, I'm compromised. Let me chill.
I know he was working my cage door after that.
Yeah.
Did he go clock in?
What a thug. Hey, we're going to put you on first so you can get to it. Can you close your own door in between rounds?
So that is.
I mean, he stepped up. Sorry, he stepped up on a day's notice. He was coming down already with Donaldson to work the event, and he was like, "Yo, I'll take that fight."
Shit.
Shit.
Props to him.
Yep.
But yeah, that is the recap of the whole card from top to bottom. It was really an amazing night of fights, and it was a fantastic kind of like reintroduction of the Combat Night Pro platform to South Florida. They just did not disappoint.
No, sir.
Ben, how many times have you been to that venue before?
That venue? Before it was rebuilt, I used to work there in a haunted house as a kid, but that's the first time I've been there for a show.
Okay. I'll tell you, last night I got told myself about a dozen times that venue has never seen that many people.
Hell yeah.
That normally those shows have 250 people at them, and that, oh man, they were just bragging them, bro. I was like, damn.
Well,
so they said they want us to be there every month. So I know a lot of different promotions have tried their luck over there. I love that we went out there and we crushed it like that, to where the workers, the fans, the coaches, everybody's saying it. I was hoping you had been to some of the other ones, so you could have gave some firsthand testimony.
Man, I've been rolling pretty much solely with you guys since I moved back to America in 2013.
Yeah. I mean, you know about that boom in South Florida pro MMA.
Yeah.
You were working for Combate. You were working for all these guys down there, and they were doing shows every other weekend.
Dude, I miss Combate. That was a nice side gig.
Oh, I'm sure. But I mean, for people to think I'm going to go down there and do a show when there's
Why? We're playing with TV money. Hell no.
Yeah. It's like, no, they don't care about selling tickets.
Hell no.
But yeah, I'm happy to be back there, man. Something I wanted to say, man, is your guys specifically, like, they did good. Like Isaiah, I'm just shocked at how good his striking was. Same thing with Clint. He's a young kid. You got a good little crew over there as well. I know you talk about MMA Science in Troy, but I think the same thing over there about your school. So excited to see what's next. Is Kurt going to try to fight in November? Is that the plan? Or
he said Donaldson came up to him at the show and they chatted for a little bit. So hopefully we'll be able to get something sealed up for November. If not, as early in January as you can put him on, that boy will be 18. He's going to want to bleed somebody out.
MMA?
Yeah. You have no fucking idea. You've only seen his striking. You guys are fucked.
I can't wait.
Hell yeah. Hey, I got an IKF event coming up. Can I shout it out real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
November 16th, Seminole Middle School, Plantation, Florida. It is our last Point IKF event of the year. Point kickboxing, Point Muay Thai. A lot of these guys that you saw fight last night came up in our systems, getting their feet wet in our tournaments. If you are starting out or if you're seasoned and you just want to stay sharp in between, Sign up for these tournaments. You get all sorts. The list of guys. I'm gonna compile it one day of how many people have moved on from IKF into Combat Night and are now doing very, very well. You're a fantastic building ground for combat sports. So get on the IKF Fight platform. Sign up November 16th. IKF Point Kickboxing, Point Muay Thai, Seminole Middle, Plantation, Florida. I'll see you there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Ben said too. It's really, guys, if you're going to be doing MMA and especially having competed a lot in your life, that's why wrestlers do so well. They've competed 300 times in front of a crowd, so it's nothing for them. But if you didn't come up wrestling in high school, you haven't competed a lot in front of people, you should be doing these IKF tournaments. Maybe you are a grappler and you need to get your hands to be better. You should be doing these IKF tournaments. I promise you guys, you're going to have a good experience for your debut. So go in there and see what it feels like to be in front of your family and friends fighting in a situation where there's no knockouts allowed, where you're really just touching and moving. And like, let's be real, guys. You'll know if I didn't pull that punch, I could have rocked that guy. And I didn't do this, he could have rocked me. You're going to feel all this stuff. You're going to understand so much more about fighting through an IKF tournament. It's really silly if you do not take the opportunity to at least do one. And I think you'll see the benefit no matter what level amateur you are.
And let me tell you guys this. As a promoter of this event, we want you getting the experience. It's $55 to get into the tournament if you do early sign up. $55. Naga's $125, right? Some of these other tournaments in our area that claim to be point, they're $75 starting. $55 gets you into licensed, insured, sanctioned event. Take advantage, man.
Yeah. So what we have coming up before November 16th, it's fight week. We're right back on it. We'll be in Orlando this Saturday downtown at the Beecham for another fantastic night of Combat Night action. So, well, I guess we'll jump on Friday and talk about that card after weigh-ins. But yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys all there. Somebody, let me look at the comments real quick. Somebody in the comments just said, "Get Joe Rogan to come to an event."
I don't think we got that kind of.
I was about to say, Mitch, you know Joe Rogan. Hit him up.
I'll call him tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Let me hit up Joe Rogan.
Oh, Joe Hogan. Can we get Dana White looking for a fight? You know what I'm saying?
They usually go to events that they're going to be at in that city, that whatever that is. Like if it's a Saturday, whatever their schedule is of filming, whatever events they have in whatever cities or states they're going to, they film it the night before at one of those places.
True.
But no, that'd be dope. It's funny. I was reading the comments as well. Somebody was saying it only took you a month to scout that. I was thinking that would take longer. Take months of planning. No, it does take months of planning. But like of actually scouting the venue and like looking inside of the venue and like seeing the inside of it. Usually we do that a month out where we really think about where everything's gonna go. I go solo, but then the team comes and looks at it too, so that we have a very smooth setup like we did. We nailed this one out of the park. This is the setup for the event. It was great. So yeah, it took months. But the actual scouting the venue to see where we're going to put everything was done about a month out.
Nah, we just plan for a couple weeks and then run it.
Bro,
what are you talking about? No, you just make the call, put the deposit in.
Yeah. Well, someone had made a comment earlier about us being here a month earlier scouting out the venue. And it was like, no. We had already contract at that point. We had already scouted it for months. That was just the final scouts. I
mean, you probably said something about having a pro show down in South Florida a year ago.
Yeah.
And then it's like we'll spend months looking for a venue that makes sense for us, and then yada yada.
And honestly, what happened was I wanted to go to Ohio before the end of the year, and we just couldn't do it. And I was like, you know what? I was like, we're doing something before the end of the year.
You didn't make a bad choice. It's going to be cold as fuck in Ohio right now. Wait until March, April, May, dude. Do that second quarter or later.
Well, it's still on the what do you call that? Like the
2026 calendar.
Mission board. And that'll be fun. we have gone long distances, doing our thing, being the infrastructure for other promotions. So we do have some experience with taking the whole kind of circus a long distance. Luis Perez said, "Why Ohio?"
Because they like fights, man. They like fights.
Man, it's real simple. It's smart. There is not a lot of things going on in Ohio. There are not a lot of events. Events aren't going to go there. A lot of people live in Ohio. It is I would say, more of a blue collar area, which enjoy fighting, enjoy drinking. Tickets from Orlando to Ohio are very, very affordable through a couple different airlines, direct flights. So the team can get there in a pretty inexpensive way. And yeah, I want to go out of multiple states. I want to do Tennessee as well. So those are the next two we're gonna get done eventually.
See, when you're trying to take your business national, you got to go places that it makes sense to go, where you can still make money whenever you go there, not just.
Or if it flops, you don't lose a whole bunch of money. You don't spend $700 on everybody's airline ticket, but you could have went somewhere to spend $100. Or the commission you go to is California, and it's super expensive to do an event there and hard. So you get a commission. It's easy.
Looking at Mississippi, Louisiana, them boys like scraps.
Yeah, they have a few good events out there. I know Dean Toole does a lot of events at casinos in those areas. I wouldn't be opposed to looking into that as well. But I have a few footholds in Ohio and people I know that want to see us go up there too. Same with Tennessee. People that I know for sure can help and will help.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for hopping on. We'll see you guys
Always
this Friday for pre-show for the Saturday show, October 18th. Tickets and pay-per-view available at the link in bio.
Sure.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Peace.
See you guys.
Are you ready for combat night?